This episode of The Trap Set is brought to you by C&C Drums, handmade drums from Gladstone, Missouri. Check them out online at cnccustomdrums.com. The Trap Set will always be available for free, but we rely on donations from our listeners. Please visit our website at thetrapset.net and click Donate. Subscribe to our show on iTunes, and if you enjoy what you hear, give us a review.
This is Joe Wong. Welcome to The Trap Set, where each week we explore the lives of drummers. I want to play something for you.
You've got to look into the
You're hearing the song Sheets of Easter by Oneida, a band that my guest Kid Millions has played in since 1997. This song continues its meditative cycle for another 14 minutes. On record, it's a great track, but live, it's a visceral, immersive, full-body experience. Kid Millions has a propulsive sense of time, an incredible feel, and a tasteful balance of restraint and flash. He's also known for his stamina. He's hosted 10-hour jam sessions at ATP festivals and composed pieces that require he and his collaborators to play a single-stroke roll for 40 minutes. Kid's adventurous and prolific output, both as a supporting player and as a solo artist, has cemented his place as one of the most respected drummers on the Brooklyn rock scene. I got to know Kid when I joined him as a touring member of his solo project, Man Forever. The two of us traveled from city to city in his family's Subaru. He introduced me to great new friends. We sought out the best food each town had to offer, and we shared many engaging, meaningful conversations. I've enjoyed Kid's drumming for years, but now I'm also lucky enough to count him among my good friends. Here's my conversation with Kid Millions. Tell me, where does the name Kid Millions come from?
Well, it started when Oneida started, and I thought I need to have like a different persona so I would feel less insecure and I would just, get out there and introduce myself to people. So it was going to be, I thought of Kid, this persona, like this person that didn't get uptight and would just approach people and talk to women, and then it kind of evolved into Kid Millions because we on the road we saw somebody had an old poster from a movie star. His name was Kid Millions.
A Western movie?
Maybe. I don't know what it was.
But you were just plain Kid before that. So it was just a coincidence that you saw the Kid Millions thing.
Yeah.
So Kid, that was your own invention.
Well, not so difficult to invent, but yeah. It was actually Special Kid. It's so stupid, but the guys would call me Special originally, and I would introduce myself as Kid, and then quickly, so it was like a persona.
So did you start getting laid a bunch at that point?
No. It didn't change my personality. It wasn't a mask. It didn't work that way.
Now, you went to boarding school or prep school for high school, right?
Yeah.
And that's where you met Bobby?
Yep.
What was that like?
What
was the prep school experience like?
I mean, well, what do you want to know about? I mean,
did you feel comfortable there?
Yes, I did. Which is weird. I mean,
you didn't have to come up with like an alter ego while you were at prep school?
No, but I did.
You did?
Yeah, because at that age, what happened was I had to do a grade again.
Okay.
To get into the school, it was a little tough to get into. I did a grade again. So I did 9th grade twice. And that year of me being like slightly older than the the other students kind of helped me just reinvent myself as not a loser. I mean, I don't know. I went to school with people like, the Pillsburys and the fucking DuPonts and like, children of, the CEO of Nabisco and stuff like that.
But you don't come from an exorbitantly wealthy family,
No,
right?
no.
What did your folks do?
My dad's a pilot, airline pilot, and my mom...
For which airline?
Well, I was at the time for TWA.
Okay.
It doesn't exist anymore, but yeah, and my mom was a mom, like a housewife. She became like a librarian or started working in a library like after.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the impetus for sending you there?
It was like kind of culturally...
Did they want you to marry a Pillsbury?
No. I think the education was just important to them. And in that, where I grew up in Lakeville, Connecticut, there is a prep school. It's called Hotchkiss School. And it was just, I don't know, kind of part of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think I didn't... culturally, it was like not that unusual, but I don't know. As far as going away from home, I think that was more me. I kind of wanted to, and they were supportive of that.
And so, when did you get into playing drums?
In high school. Yeah.
So when you were away at school, at prep school.
Yeah.
And how did that come about? How did you get behind a drum kit for the first time?
Well, what was cool about St. Paul's was they had a music building. Okay, so they had a drum set in a room that was just there. It was one of the practice rooms. And a good friend of mine at school was a drummer, like a serious drummer. He was a young prodigy type. So he was like... And he was like known throughout the school, like this guy's a drummer. Willie Cook he's a drummer, and
are you still in touch with him?
Yeah.
Is he still playing?
He still does.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's still good. He's a hedge fund guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, he's like big success in his field, but he still plays drums, and he can do it better than me. Like
So he just basically
drummer.
has it all.
Yeah, totally.
Do you hate him?
No, man. He's got a wife and kids, and I hate him. No, he's great. He's really cool. He was really was the impetus for me to start. And he was like, he would show me like some moves and lend me his sticks, and I would just like fancy myself, like a proper drummer.
Do you remember the first time you played with like another musician? Did you have a moment where you felt the power of it, or you felt like an out-of-body experience? Or was it more of a gradual thing?
That's a good question. I think I probably just... I think maybe just getting over that first hump of like playing a beat, like on the 2 and 4, kind of like a rock beat.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, I joined a band, right away. Within a week. It wasn't like
right.
There wasn't a long period. It was like it was almost like there weren't enough drummers at the school. And these guys, there were some nerdy guys who weren't cool, but who all played. They, like a couple guitarists, a bassist, and they needed a drummer. And I just hopped right in, and we just started jamming. Was it
great?
It was great. Yeah, it was great. We played a show. We played many shows at school, and yeah, it was awesome. It must have. I mean, I never like fully accepted that it was going to be, that I was allowed to be a drummer.
Right.
You know, so it was, I just had a blast with it, but I never believed that I could do anything with it.
But your folks were supportive of it as a hobby, at least, right? Like
Yeah.
they got you a drum set and stuff.
Yeah, they were, and that was great. They and like I started taking lessons at the school with a drummer, and my dad bought me my first kit, you know. So they were supportive. I think they started getting a little bit stressed out when I took it like pretty seriously. And then that was less cool.
When did that happen?
College.
So did you study English when you went to school?
Yeah, I studied
That was your
English.
major?
Yeah.
And then somewhere in college, you kind of decided to give music a go or get more serious about it as
Yeah.
like a life path?
Well, in college, it was more like I couldn't let go. I mean, I didn't take my drums to college, but within the first week, there was like upperclassmen like actually came to the freshman dorms, and they're like, "We're looking for a drummer. We have this band. We do like covers of like Joy Division and Public Image Limited, and you know like Sonic Youth and I was like, huh, that sounds cool. I didn't know those bands.
Okay.
I didn't know. I mean, you know, I had heard Sonic Youth, you know, in high school, but then I actually went to the library at Middlebury. They had Sister on
Right.
LP, and I fucking put on the headphones and I listened to this record, and whoa, wow, this is cool. This is crazy. And that was the start. And then I wasn't serious about it until later, until I took a jazz like improv class, and my mind was kind of opened up to like a higher level of playing and what it required and practice, and so that was the awakening. So I actually went into Boston and I went to Berkeley, and I like went into the drum room, and it was like 20 plexiglass pods.
I used to work in that room.
You did?
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
What was your impression?
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was a total nightmare. And I thought like, wow, I don't know if this is my path.
Right.
When I graduated from Middlebury, I still thought, well, I can't make a living doing music. I don't have what it takes. So I wanted to work in music. So I said, okay, I'll move to New York. I'll try to get a job at the knitting factory because I'd heard about it as a place that had like crazy music. You know, this was the spot. So I thought, well, shit, I'll just go there and see what it is. Maybe I can be an intern, but I didn't think I could play music.
And so you got the job at the knitting factory, and how long did you work there?
I worked there for like almost 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then during that time, you guys started Oneida too, right?
Just at the tail end, very tail end, yeah.
And then, you know, I feel like you guys applied that same kind of discipline that jazz musicians apply to their craft to what you guys were doing in a different context. So when did it start getting serious?
Well, we were serious kind of from the start, in a way. Crazy and I started the band just on a whim. We recorded a record on a 4-track. We took the songs to a friend of mine who had a record label. Just honestly, I swear, I didn't think in a million years he would like it, or want to put it out, rather. I hoped he would have some comments or some thoughts or opinions, things we could work on or something. And he got back to us right away and is like, I'm falling in love with this record. I love it. I'm going to put it out. And we didn't have a band. We'd never played we hadn't really played those songs even together, like in the practice room. We just kind of put them together, in the studio. And so we put together a band to tour. And that included Bobby and Jane. And at that point, once we hit the road and started playing every night, it became more serious.
Well, you were extremely prolific, for one thing.
Sure.
So how many albums did the band put out?
Since the start?
Yeah.
I mean, is it 12 maybe?
And then some of them are like double, triple albums too.
Yeah, there's one double and one triple.
And when did you guys start?
97.
Right.
Yeah.
So it seems like you guys have kind of scaled back considerably in the last few years with people moving away and having families and getting married and stuff. But
sure.
There was like a decent amount of those years where you were just hitting the road quite often and making records and just like really going for it. Like, when did you start getting really busy with that band?
Well, we never actually completely went for it fully. We had this moment where in 2001 where we recorded Anthem of the Moon, and it was coming out, and we had Each One Teach One, our 5th album, recorded and done. So we had this record coming out, and we had this other album kind of waiting. And so Anthem of the Moon came out the week of September 11th. And we had a tour booked, and before that, actually, Crazy quit. But he said he would do the tour, but he quit the band. So we were just about to buy a van and just about, like, really, I swear to God, it was like we were going to put down all this money for a new van. And the day before we did that, Crazy quit. So we kind of reassessed, like, wait a minute, what are we going to do? We were going to, like, everybody quit their jobs and really, like, go crazy with the touring. And then he quit, and we just kind of, it stalled us out. We didn't know what we were going to do. And once that happened and all this shit we worked for kind of fell aside for a moment, all of us kind of, I think, had a moment of crisis or something, and we just...
Okay, so then Crazy quits, and you were probably all ready to go, and now all you have left besides the band is the temp job.
Yeah.
And then, so how did you react? I mean, what?
I think I kind of, we spent another year finding our feet a little bit. I don't know. I did freak out a bit. I almost moved away. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. But Each One Teach One, which was the follow-up record, came out, and it made a bit of a small splash for us.
And then you did a bunch of touring after that?
Yeah. I would say modest touring, but we went to Europe, which was new for us. Yeah.
And then from then until now, how many times? I mean, like, it seems like Oneida's toured still quite a bit since then. Like,
well, we've gone on tours, but we haven't toured, like, extensively. I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, 3 weeks a year at the most.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I had a different perception just considering the amount of material you guys have put out over the years.
Yeah. We don't really tour a lot. Yeah. They don't know us in LA very well. To be honest.
All right. So, but okay, now kind of coming up to your current project, Man Forever. When did you start doing Man Forever?
2010.
Okay. And that's your solo percussion project.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how did that idea come about?
It was kind of came out about with a number of different strands kind of came together at once. I've been asked to do a solo record by St. Ives, which is a subsidiary. It was a little vinyl-only label that Secretly Canadian put out. Ben Swanson approached me probably in 2009 and was like, "I want to make I want you to do a solo record." So I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah." I went to a friend of mine has a group called Fireworks Ensemble. It's like a contemporary music group, and they were asked to perform an orchestral transcription of Metal Machine music at Miller Theater. It was transcribed by Ulrich Krieger. For like a chamber ensemble. And my friend's group was playing it. So I just to be supportive, I went. Because I had no impression of the record. I had heard that it was noise, and I knew a lot of people were into it, but I never really got around to listening to it. Went to the show and was just blown away. Not only by the music was incredible, but also the program notes talked about how Ulrich had kind of decoded Metal Machine music and how he had like come to transcribe what seemed to be noise into, actual notes on a page. And he had broken down. He'd first gotten the info from Lou Reed that the guitar had been tuned. Each string was tuned to fifths, apparently. And so it was an open tuning. So once he found that out, he was able to like figure out the overtone series and get a sense of the what went into creating that quote noise. So he really it's actually, if you A/B the original record with the transcribed live performance of Metal Machine music, it's actually kind of similar in a cool way. But so in the program notes, Ulrich wrote about how Lou Reed made the record. He used tape speed manipulation. He did multiple overdubs to create this bizarre like noise piece. And then I had remembered I'd had a really interesting conversation with Brian Chase of the Yeah Yeah Yeahs about tuning drums in very precise ways. So all these things kind of came into my head. The fact that I needed to make a record, this information in the program notes about how Metal Machine music was made, how Ulrich Krieger had transcribed it, and then Brian's kind of like work on the drums. And I thought, okay, I know what I'm making. I'm going to make a Metal Machine music, acoustic Metal Machine music for drums. I'm going to have Brian come in to the studio. I'm going to ask him to help me tune the drums to pitches because I had no fucking clue about tuning at all at that point. It was all just voodoo to me. And
what did you learn from Brian?
Well, I mean, just basic shit. Probably a lot of drummers know, but I didn't know. But how to kind of find the note that the drum wants to sing.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching Brian work, I've learned a lot about tuning and how it's essential to drumming. It's not a separate thing. It's not like, well, you gotta, you can play fast, but the tuning is the same thing. It's like your signature. So it really like changed my life as a drummer, my world,
And I remember because I was playing on some of those shows with you when that album came out, that was, I feel like you were going through a turning point and having, like, I guess it would be like a renewed commitment or a new commitment that you were going to make music your primary source of income and your primary occupation at that point.
Yeah.
So how's that been so far?
Yeah, man, I never know how to answer that. It's good. I mean, it's good. It's good, but it's...
Are your parents still nervous about it, or have they finally come to terms with it?
Yeah, they're fine. We don't talk about it much.
Do you hear their voices in your mind?
No.
Okay.
No. I did, but before I quit.
Right.
I mean, that was like part of why I never went for it. I was like I didn't want them to be stressed out. But it's not my job to...
Right.
But I mean, it took me a long time, man. I mean, it was like I was almost 40.
Right. Are you 40 now?
Yeah.
So how do you...
41.
How does it feel? I mean, are you happy that you made that choice, that you made that leap?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Happy. It's just the natural progression that your life took. Yeah. I don't have any regrets.
That's good.
Right. It's correct. To fail at this is the right thing.
That's a good way of looking at it.
If I must.
Well, I hope you don't succeed then.
Thanks.
Anything else that you want to plug?
I think those are the only things that are like really in the pipeline.
Is Oneida working on something?
Yep. We got we're working on a record with Reese Chatham. It's coming out in the fall. And also a separate album, like aside from Reese, that we're working on too.
Well, I think we've pretty much covered everything. Yeah. And for somebody as self-deprecating as you're sure prolific and great. So thanks for coming by.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Joe.
The Trap Set is produced by me, Joe Wong, along with Chris Karwowski, who also edits the program. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at The Trap Set. And visit our website, thetrapset.net, to subscribe to our show for free. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please donate to our show. If you can't afford to donate, please tell a friend and give us a good rating on iTunes. Tune in next week to hear my conversation with Sandra Vu of Dum Dum Girls.